I was an RTTO, a registered tow truck operator, for about 2 years. It was a great job. The pay was good, lots of overtime, and on-call shifts. I got into the career because of shows I watched as a kid like Highway Through Hell. So when I got the chance to go into the field, I jumped on it. The first month was good. I learned a lot of experience and new skills. Part of our job as RTTOs was emergency calls with police and fire for crash scenes and impounds. So we saw a lot of tragic stuff. DUI fatalities, hit and runs, non-DUI fatalities, etc. The job can be very emotionally and mentally draining, and it can mess you up if you're not careful. However, there's another kind of aspect to the job not a lot of drivers talk about. The paranormal. Odd stuff or calls that unsettle you. Almost every tow truck driver has experienced it. It was a snowy, cold November night in 2023. We didn't get a lot of calls that day, so I was just chilling at the shop for my on-call shift. The night was going very slowly. We hadn't gotten any calls for hours, so I lay down for a bit, not expecting to get any call that night. Then, all of a sudden, I get a call for a broken down WSP, Washington State Patrol, car off this dirt road. I didn't think much of it at the time. It wasn't too weird for me since I had gotten a few calls like it before. So I hop in my flatbed and drive up to the call's location. The directions took me a good 30-ish minutes outside of the city, into the mountains on I-90. By the time I got off the freeway, it was super foggy and very hard to see. So I took it slow and easy to be safe. I keep driving up the now dirt mountain road, and then I start thinking to myself that this is a really odd road for WSP to be on, since they usually stay on the interstates and state highways. I didn't think much of it when I first got the call because staters and sheriffs do occasionally go out on the more remote roads. But the road I was on was an unpaved dirt logging road. There was nothing out here, just an old logging road and trees. I try to rationalize it to myself that maybe the cop was just out here for an abandoned car, which would explain why he was all the way out here, since cars do get left and abandoned out here often. So I just shrug it off and continue my way up the road. I finally get to the location and stop the truck dead in its tracks, and just sit there for a minute. What the hell? I think to myself. The WSP car was parked out on this mountain road with all its doors open, no lights on, no officers in sight. It was so foggy I could really only see the car, but it was clear to me that no one was in sight. I very heavily contemplated just turning around and going back, but I eventually decided to hop out and inspect the car and look for the officer, since he could have been injured after all. So I hopped out of the truck and grabbed my AR with my sidearm holstered, since I had no idea what I was about to walk into. I walked up to the car very cautiously. Just because I had my guns on did not make the situation feel any better, nor safer. I first checked out the driver's seat, then the passenger seat. Odd, I think to myself. Nothing is missing. It was like everything was frozen in time. At this point, I'm starting to get a strange feeling, like something is off. That's when I look into the trunk of the car and notice the AR is missing. I immediately freeze up and look around. As I'm looking around, that's when I notice that the forest was dead quiet. No wind. No nothing. I have seen a lot of messed up stuff. Dead bodies, entire families killed in one accident, etc. But I was completely unnerved. Something inside me was telling me to get the hell out of there. I managed to gather the composure to do a walk around one more time, just to make sure I didn't miss anything. Then I called my dispatcher just to make sure I had the right location and information, and sure enough, everything was correct. At that point, I was ready as hell to get out as fast as possible. Right before I turned the truck around, I yelled out, just to see if I'd get a response. But nothing but dead silence came back. Something is deeply wrong with this, I said to myself, and booked it out of there. The whole drive back, I had this sick feeling, like I stumbled across something I was absolutely not supposed to see, or like I wasn't even supposed to be there. I kept thinking, why was the cop all the way out there? Why did he leave the car? Why were all the doors wide open? Or was it even a cop in the first place? More importantly, why was only the AR missing when thousands of dollars worth of equipment was still in that car? Once I got back to the shop, I called the police dispatcher who gave us the call. Since I knew her, I was hoping she could give me some answers. But no, she said the exact same thing that was said to me before, that a WSP car was broken down and just needed a tow. I never told my supervisor or anyone else, out of fear that they wouldn't believe me. I mean, I wouldn't if I were them. I never heard anything about a missing cop after that, nothing on the news. Just nothing. It still creeps me out to this day thinking about it. Hello everyone, I'm back with another story. So back when I was a RTTO truck driver, when someone had an on-call shift, you had one of two options. One, you could stay at your home and take calls from there as long as you lived within a 30-minute response area. Two, you could sleep at the shop in the employee break room. I'd usually stay at the shop just so I didn't have to keep driving from my house to the yard when I got calls late at night. It was just easier, honestly. But this story that I'm about to share changed all of that. It was around November 2023, and as usual, we had a long day, and it was on my call shift. Luckily for me, whenever I had on-call shifts, I'd usually sleep in my coworker's trailer at the yard because I didn't really want to stay in the huge shop. This night, however, I chose, for whatever reason I can't remember, to sleep in my truck outside of the barbed wire yard instead of sleeping in my buddy's trailer. I was very tired, so I hopped in my truck's back seat and got ready to pass out. One thing to keep in mind is that our yard has been broken into before, and we sometimes get random homeless people walking around, so I always stay armed no matter what. It was a foggy night too, so that helped me fall asleep since I love the fog. The ambient atmosphere it gives off is just so soothing and basically put me to sleep. I fell asleep at around 12:30 to 1, which gave me plenty of time to get some good sleep. I'm usually a deep sleeper, so when I randomly woke up at around 3 a.m., if I had to guess, it was quite a bit odd. I didn't know what woke me up. At first, I thought I had gotten a call for a tow, but when I checked my phone, there was nothing, so I just shrugged it off and passed back out. Come morning time, I'm very tired still and get out of my truck to start my day, and that's when I noticed a bunch of handprints all over my truck and windows. Very confused and groggy, that's when my coworker comes over and we start talking. I obviously asked him about all the handprints all over my truck and why they were there. That's when he very confusingly says, "What, you don't remember?" "Remember what?" I say. He then told me that last night he was woken up at 3 a.m. to his dog barking. He continues to tell me that he walked out of his trailer with his shotgun thinking someone was trying to break into the yard, only to see a person standing at the back window of my truck, staring in. The person then just ran away into the night once he saw my buddy. Sufficient to say, I was chilled to my bone. That creep had been walking around my truck and watching me sleep for God knows how long. Thank God he didn't try to open my door, or otherwise it might have gotten real ugly. After that, I never slept in my truck again, and then started to do my own call shifts at my house. Whenever I did have to sleep at the shop, I only ever slept in his trailer with him. To this day, it is one of the most downright disgusting things that's ever happened to me, and believe me, I have experienced a lot of weird stuff. The farm I work on has an alarm system that goes off if someone is coming down the driveway. One night it kept going off. They have cameras, so I'd check up to see who's coming, because no one should be. No one was there. After the next 3 alarms that went off, the dog started to howl. It was pretty creepy, as at that point it was 3 in the morning. I hope you enjoyed this selection of night shift stories. If you enjoy our content, remember to like and subscribe. And if you have a story you would like shared, email us at grcampfire@gmail.com. Until next time, stay safe.